Hi everyone, Marcus here from uTu. I want to cover off on some quick security basis as it potentially pertains to bots, just some things to be thinking about. High level takeaways, you can't hide. I mean, that's kind of a reality in the web today. Don't be just password dumb and thinking about securing your endpoints. So in terms, it's everywhere. Spam. It's not just an email. Thinking about web forms. Uh, when place that you've potentially seen this. If you've ever had forms set up and why you use things like CAPTCHA or forced logins before, just dumping responses back in. If you see some of the stuff that comes through. And I think that's just to keep in mind that, even if you're a fairly obscure little bot that you've just kind of thrown something out there and you're testing and you're playing away, that obscurity is not going to protect you. That, the spam agents and what they do will kind of seek you out and find you regardless. So you definitely want to be from the get-go thinking about securing your bot even while you're just in some form of dev mode. Other things around that, just good practice. So don't be like ostensible or like totally obtuse with your passwords that you use. You definitely the need to kind of secure yourself a little bit better is kind of there, just good habit. And kind of a big one, and particularly if you're kind of new to coding or doing development, is in your code. So here's kind of a screen capture from within the listener piece. Right here where it says process.env.uTuSecret, this, when we use the environment variables in that local file when we're doing dev or on Heroku on the environment, the settings, those are actually effectively the passwords, the unique keys that we use to access stuff. What you don't want to do is to make sure that in plain text you are dropping your keys into your code. That in general would be bad practice. And if so doing, you certainly don't want to then turn around and push that out to GitHub where it's potentially accessible by others. So generally, you definitely want to use practices like git ignore for your local.env file. So it's one thing to have the example that doesn't have your real keys in it, but you don't want to be pushing like your .env file to the public repos. And in a general sense, and we'll kind of look at some of the ways to do this, when you do expose a listener externally, aside from potentially creating and issuing the tokens and things that yourself, something you definitely want to be mindful of is that you're monitoring the traffic, where it's coming from. Does it have the right credentials before you decide to try to process it? All right, so again, high level, just some security considerations as we move into deploying the bot. For more on this course and details, come over to betterbots.utu.ai, or of course you can go and check out the uTu.ai platform at any time. All right, thanks so much.